All right, well, good evening. This is Tips for the Common Man, and today we're going to be going over caulking technique. Tips for the Common Man is geared towards people that are not in the trades or in the trade. That will help you to improve the way things look when you're doing simple things. For instance, caulking. The most important thing in caulking is consistency. So that's a consistent bead. That's the bit that comes out of the end of the caulk gun. And consistent pull rate or consistent trigger squeeze. And those two things will help you to be a better caulker. One of the most important things that I do is when I cut the tip of the caulk gun, I cut it in a way that will allow me to tool the joint with the tip of the caulk gun instead of having to tool it with my finger. Now you'll see in all of these videos that I've spliced together that I use my finger in all of them. But usually when I tool a joint, I try to avoid using my fingers in the caulk at all. And most of that is because I just like it to be neat enough that I don't have to put my fingers in it. But these joints were... the tip of the caulk gun must not have been cut very smoothly, and these joints kind of just warranted the use of my finger to smooth the caulk. But consistency and practice. So practice a lot and a consistent rate of pull on the trigger and a consistent rate of application across the joint. And that's really the basics of caulking. If the joint that you lay in, say for a piece of crown molding, is messy, just use your finger to smooth it out. Always dampen your finger. I always carry a damp rag with me when I caulk, so that I always have some way to dampen my finger and then just smooth it right out with the tip of my finger. And you'll notice how smoothly I lay the caulk in there. That's very, very important. Something that I've always said, I did welding for about 3 months. After that, I couldn't stand to work in the welding shop anymore. But one of the things I learned is that welding was a bit like caulking. So you could almost switch it around. Caulking is like welding. Consistency. When you're running a welding bead with your probe, you have to move at a constant rate and not so fast that you melt the metal and it just ends up being more like a plasma cutter the entire way down the piece, and not so fast that you leave holes in the metal and not weld at all. So always try to be as consistent as possible with your caulking bead.